you tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.
And hello everybody. Today we have a very, very special guest with us, and very close to me. I admire his work tremendously in cinema and music. A very, very talented artist and producer. We have with us Andres SH Nelke. Hi Andres, how's it going?
Hi, so nice to be talking to you. And thank you for the I admire your work too, man. You're doing a fantastic job.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Really.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We try.
Yeah, that's the most important. To try. Always try.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have on the background one of your songs. Actually, it's a remix, right? It's a very nice remix. A little more techno. I know you were into rock and pop and original soundtrack as well. This one is like a techno remix. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this song? I think for now, the title is They Are Following You, right?
Yeah, that's right. In Spanish, it's Te Están Siguiendo, correct? And I did it for a movie. But a friend of mine, Nicholas Led, actually, he did a remix of it, and he turned, because it was more sort of, rocky, like it starts, a bit like it starts, and then he turned it into more chill out, more chill electronic, I guess, and it sounds fine. I dig it, and I like it. And it's just something that is a bit different to what I usually do. But I think it's interesting, and I like to try many different styles. And I thought it was cool to put it in your site,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're totally behind experimenting. This looks to be an experimentation for you.
Correct.
One of your demos for one of your movies, one of your soundtracks, and that's really actually very interesting. Why don't you tell us what's the script, or what's the action behind this music? So intentionally, what was the original intention behind this composition for you?
Okay, that's interesting, because the original intention, and actually it is in the movie, the original, not the remix, but the original is in the movie, and it's just.
What movie is it? Can we find it somewhere? I would like to watch it.
Well, yeah, it's in Spanish. It's a nice comedy. It's Esta Noche No, Yep. And I did the soundtrack along with another musician, and it was long ago, but it's interesting because it's actually, as the title says, it's like a chase, and some bad guys are chasing, the protagonist, and it's simple, I did it simple. I really did it very quick. That was done very quick. Sometimes when you're working in movies or things, you have to go fast, and you have to do a good job. You have to work fast, and you have to enjoy. You have to do the job, and then you have to deliver, and there's a timing, So that was the interesting was that I did that. I was happy with the result. It was accepted. Sometimes, things are not accepted in movies. That's also important to know. It's not always success. But this was accepted, and this was okay. And and then Nicholas, he just told me, "Hey, can I do a remix?" And I said, "Sure, man, go for it." And he did it, and that's it.
Yeah, it sounds
very simple.
Very simple. This sounds actually very cool. Congratulations to you for as the original author, and to Niklas for this wonderful remix. You mentioned a very interesting point. Normally, when you're an independent musician, you set your own time frames. But you bring up a very interesting point when you're working for hire, like in the movie, for example. In your case,
correct.
You have to adapt and meet all the requirements. And so, how do you find it different? What do you think is best and worst from each side? Because I know you've done music for yourself as well. So why don't you tell us what are the remarks of one way and the other?
Okay, when you're working for a movie, as a musician, as a composer, you really have to work. I mean, I think that this way you have to work for the movie. What's important is the movie. If you have to do like heavy stuff, a lot of composition, with a lot of instruments, then you go for that. If it has to be, if it asks for less, arrangements, less composition, then you go simpler. But it has to go. You really have to deliver, and that's gonna be accepted or not. It's just as simple as that. You go, and then your work is gonna be accepted or not, and sometimes it's not. And you have to go. Okay, then yeah.
That's one. Capital point. So feedback and rejection, things that musicians have to learn how to deal with. Right?
Correct. Yes, that's right.
How have you dealt with that? How did you learn to deal with that throughout your career?
Well, I've been accepted more than rejected, which is good. But I had some, some of my work was sometimes rejected, and I didn't take it good. And then I learned, and this is good, to tell everybody who's listening, that you have to accept failure. You have to go with the success. Fortunately for me, it was more success. It's been more success, but success always goes with failure. It's a fine line, and you have to work the best you can. And sometimes, if you have the right attitude, you get it. Most of the time. Sometimes you don't. And if you don't, you can try again. But it's simple. It's just like we started talking, saying you have to try, and I think you always have to try, And I like to go in a flow mode, with everything, especially with music. We've been doing music together, and. I think it was like that, We didn't really think much about it. We just did it.
We just did it, yeah.
Remember, we just did it.
Don't think too much about anything. You begin to question yourself. But it's important that you have some kind of fuel for the times that you have to confront rejection or negativity, and the remedy to, or the fuel to overcome that is always passion. And there's
correct. Yeah, that's right.
It's a big distinction. Our own motive and philosophy is, there's probably two sides in today's music panorama. You have the ones that are doing a job because somehow they got a millionaire contract, which that side we're not interested at all. And you have the other side, which is people like you and me, and the ones listening to us probably, the ones that are making music because they have passion for it, not because they are doing a job for a contract. They have a passion.
Correct. That's right.
Yes, they have a passion, and they are trying to fill a void, creating, or they're like responding to an urge to create original music. That song is the one we're behind of, and we want to promote and push for, and honestly, that's the more interesting one. That's probably the
because the other one lasts very little. If you go just for the commercial, side, which you can. I really don't have anything against anything. You just choose your way. Well, when you work for hire, but you're working on something interesting, like for some movies or most movies or something like that, that can be, long-lasting and very interesting, But when you're doing just a job, just music to earn money, that's going to be short-lived, for sure. Because you cannot deliver, you really cannot deliver, what the big audience is going to really like always,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. There's an ugly side to the music business, which fortunately with platforms like yours, and the things that are changing for the better. But there's an ugly side, which is that many people, musicians, don't really know the deal, the side, the business side, and back then, some years ago, not so many, we were really robbed, the composers and things, or at least, we were, some labels tried to, and that's been a trend, and I've been very harsh, let's say, on that, taking care of my fellow, composers and musicians, so that, if they didn't really know the thing, I would tell them, and I would even take care, to protect them, somehow, because I know a little bit about also the business side, So that's the ugly side, which we need money like everybody else to live. Even musicians need money, but there's like many times everything, when it falls to the business side of the music, everything is misunderstood, and in the wrong hands, and it should be much simpler.
It should be simpler,
and
we try to
much simpler.
The way to make it simpler is just be independent. I don't know. I still remember when the artist announced, okay, now I'm not with any label anymore, and I'm gonna be selling my music on my own website. And that was like, honestly, 20 years ago, that was like, what? What is that? But look at that. That's the norm today, or at least becoming the norm today. If you know more about the music business, how it is these days, share it. You can tell us what you know.
Well, the music business. Well, I think probably you know even better because you are already doing something that is pretty astounding. That is, to have your own label and to
very small. Look. Thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate it. Honestly, I appreciate it. It's not easy. I gotta tell you, it's not easy. But we're very small, and we have a clear mission. We have a philosophy, and our mission is clear, which is discovering talent and putting it out there, bringing it to the surface. That is the mission. Very, very simple. Yeah, absolutely. Business models have changed. This is a platform that is meant to be funded by advertising. In podcasts like this, in our radio. But we don't take any part of the rights of the authors. It's just it's not the way. So it's very clear. Thank you. Who knows where we will be? Right now we're just beginning, but we have a clear mission, and at least that makes us happy.
I mean, there's always ways, and if the music is good, it can find, a place, I really believe on that, that...
Yeah, we believe
you can always find your place.
Absolutely. We believe that there is tons of amazing music that is unknown. And there's an amount of work that we have to put in to search and listen to what we find, and then if we believe it's good, then contact the musicians, the authors, discussing with them. It's amazing the number of people that say no or never respond. Look, there's a lot of people that never answer. And
I understand.
So, hey, this is an open door, and you choose to enter or not, and that's it. That's our philosophy. But we invest time to find and curate the music that we expose. But I believe that it is really good, and there's tons of very good music that we put on our platform, streaming platform, and we publish. We make these yearly compilation records of independent music, and at least that's gonna be there in 10 or 20 years. Your song was included.
Yeah, because your interest, as a composer, is gonna be there. Well, obviously it has to be selected by you, but the interest is gonna be that the song is gonna be used.
Yep.
So it's gonna create music rights, and that's obviously interesting because that's what's interesting for a composer.
Absolutely.
Really,
I've discovered many good bands in soundtracks, and this brilliant idea. And going back to that topic, I would really love to hear more about your background in cinema. I'm sure that everybody wants to know more about that. Just go back to that and tell us more about your background and your history in cinema.
I did the music. I did a first soundtrack in 1997 for a comedy picture. It was a very funny picture, Dracula, and that was, really funny with a funny comedian. He was the biggest comedian in Spain,
Nice.
sort of like the Jim Carrey of Spain, let's say.
Oh, nice.
And I did that soundtrack, and it was just like a bit like an accident because I was a drummer originally, but I had my chops, I have been here and there studying, and I thought I could do it, and I don't know how I pulled that up. I think it was an opportunity, and I thought I could do a good job, and I offered myself to the producer, and he said yes.
Nice.
And then I was working nonstop, and that was, back in the days I was using a DAW with an Atari. It was very, very, very. It was the beginning of the DAW world, But I was, it was interesting, because it was like a groundbreaking, probably one of my best works, and it was groundbreaking for me because I learned. It was like, when you jump suddenly. Exponential, exponential, when you do a big leap forward. And that was it, and from there it had, good critics. The movie was a success, and, I did 2 or 3 more sounds.
Tell us more about those. Which ones are those?
Well, different, everything. Well, actually, the remix is the third soundtrack I was working on with another musician.
Beautiful.
And that was accepted, and then that was okay. And I think it was interesting because back in the days, I always think that you have to be a little bit. Obviously, you have to, with your ideas, but you have to be with what's. I like to connect with what's going on, sort of to be with the sounds, especially when you do electronic music.
But is that your
special?
Is that your preference? Do you do what you say you do?
No, I was working on the first soundtrack. It was orchestral, It was more orchestral, orchestral, and much more. And then I don't close myself to anything. If it has to be rock and roll, it's rock and roll, funky, metal, whatever. To me, it's okay.
I just remember when you were playing live. Let's talk about your live experience. I think you have a very, very juicy secret in your arsenal of your live performances, right? I heard that you've been playing for many years with very big musicians.
Yes, I did.
In Ibiza, I think. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes. Well, that's a very special story. It's an amazing story because I was lucky enough to be playing with Nico Weber, who, if you don't know, he was Prince guitar player for the decade, almost more than half of a decade, awesome. I was playing with this guy, in Ibiza for several years, and
I remember you're telling me you didn't even practice once. You had to go up there, and this is, he started to play the song. And now, come on, go on the drums, figure it out, right?
Correct. Never, no rehearsal ever. I've never rehearsed with him ever, and I've done more than 50 gigs with Nico. More than 50 gigs, no rehearsal.
That's really like a jazz. It's amazing. It's really like a jazz type of ensemble, right? You just go up there and follow the flow of the music.
Well, it's not exactly like that, because I want to be a bit precise on this, because it's interesting. It's interesting because he's actually the musical director, just like what Prince was, you know. Nice. He actually was, you know, it was very special, this experience, you know, and I'm very happy to share this because it was funky, you know, all the way, funky, you know, on a 2x4 measure most of the time, you know,
what's a
going on 4.
What's a 2x4?
2x4, you know, 2 beats, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or 4, 4, obviously like rock and roll, but always with the 1-2 feeling, you know. It was very, very house beat, you know, very interesting,
nice. Very,
very technical. I mean, don't think for a minute that there was freedom. There was no freedom. I was much more free with you, playing with you, man. When I was playing drums with him, it was incredible because everything was an arrangement, you know. But you know, it was on the one, and then you have to be there, and you have to make everything. I mean, he, for example, asked me to play just the bass drum, you know, suddenly, and I had to play just the bass drum, no hi-hat, no, you know, for, you know, 2 or 3 minutes.
Wow, that's difficult.
That kind, and then put the hi-hat on house beat, you know, and then slap it on the snare drum, you know, on a house beat, and, you know, keep on the beat. Just like a machine, but so challenging, so interesting that, you know, I'm very happy to share this with you.
Beautiful. No, it's a tremendous experience. What do you think was your biggest lesson out of that?
Well, I learned so much with him.
If you had to point one thing.
Well, it's so many things that I learned playing with the guy. Okay, you already said it, you know, no rehearsal, and just sound like you like you are gonna sound the best ever, you know. No fear, just go.
Yeah, I think
and no mistake. There's no mistake. You have to play. Right. Let's play perfect.
Yeah.
You know, just play perfect.
Yeah, but I think...
Or try. Yeah. Just try, you know. You never play perfect, but you just try. It was a bit like that.
I think it's the general topic, and I was thinking that this is the lesson, based on what you told us. You know, just try, and don't fear.
Well, the lesson I have to say, try and no fear, and go for it.
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, and if you have an idea, a music idea, you just have to make it, and you have to be patient, and you have to be, you know, persistent, and you're gonna eat, and that's all, and that's gonna, you know, somehow it's gonna make something out of it. It's gonna end up going good if you really dig it, you know, if you really go for it. Like I said, you have to take it simple always, you know, simple.
The way to take it simple, I think a lot of people don't start anything because they worry about every single step of the way.
Correct.
And that's very discouraging because you don't have to have it all figured out.
Correct. Correct. I remember when I was playing with you, we did the live, you know, the live gig we did, which was very interesting. And I think we went just for it. we were three musicians, you were singing, and it was very interesting. I think we could have made much more because we could actually play, and the songs were, some of them were very interesting, you know. So, but I think we just took it on the, let's go for it, you know, because we didn't rehearse so much, you know. We didn't, we just played, you know. We just played. Obviously, you were doing the songs. I think it was most of your songs, but we were doing some arrangements here and there, you know, Miguel. And I think it was just intuition. And, you know, when you like what you're doing, and there's communication, and, you know, things normally come good, you know. And I think it's what happened then, because we are in contact 20, almost, you know, a long time later, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, 20 years, well, not so much, 18 years, something like that. And it's been, and it's because I think we were just doing it with a positive attitude all the time, you know, for the music.
True. Yeah, it comes down to believing in your mission and just get started.
And your ideas and your music was very good. Actually, I always told you that your music is really good. You have very good ideas.
Oh, thank you.
And very good songs. And you're getting really, really good. I really dig your last LP. I really
thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's one song I think could be actually a hit in the. You know which one, but I already told you. Yeah, but you know, it's a little bit like that, you know. It's just trying. The difference is between those who do it and those who don't do it. And if you just try and you go for it, then you might, you know, but you have to be persistent. You have to go, and you have to accept, you know, failure. And never, and there's going to be failure many times, sometimes, not so many times, but sometimes. It's not important, you know.
I mean, there's going to be failure until you make it. And
yeah, and even when you make it, there's
even afterwards, there's always going to be failure.
Yeah.
But it's not. I mean,
well, Miles Davis said that
you have to define what failure is, like what failure and what making it. How do you define that? How do you define that?
Music speaking, Miles Davis said that there is no error. No, there are no errors in music. If you missed a chop or whatever, you know, there's no error. That's what Miles Davis said. I actually agree with him. You can always, you know, do a bad note or whatever, or do a wrong note or whatever, but it's not wrong, you know. You just have to. It's just a matter of taste. It's just a matter of where you are going. Music is very open, you know. If you're doing jazz or if you're doing open, you know, music, you know, the music is very, very, very wide, you know. So I can go very, very, very. I like, you know, to go in detail. I like to go. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist.
I know that.
I think you know that, but you know, I don't mind mistakes. It's part of the. It's what makes it interesting.
It's
also
part of the exploration, and
correct.
If you get started.
Yeah.
If you have a mission and you get started, how are you supposed? And you don't have everything figured out. You were brave enough to get started, and in following the pursuit of your mission.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to make progress and learn throughout the way, unless you make mistakes?
Okay. You have to prepare. I think this is good for musicians that are on your label. But I think the musicians that are on your label probably are very good, so they don't really need my advice. But for musicians who are starting, I think they need to learn as much as they can from, of music, theory and music, and then learn instrument, whether drums or guitar or bass or, piano, whatever.
Or vocals.
And if you want to be a composer, you have to learn several instruments. That's my advice. And as much as you can play, the better you understand how the music is working,
Correct.
So, yeah. So
And also expand your taste. Like, listen a little bit of everything.
Yeah, because I can play, for example, drums, which is what I was playing with Miko, but then I was playing guitar with him too, and I've been playing ever since guitar much more than drums, even though I'm not close to playing again. Drums, I play a little piano, I wish I played more. I play some bass, those kind of, and like you play also different instruments. So it's interesting because it helps you to compose. That's it. To understand what you need and what kind of arrangement you need.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
It's true. I think. Yeah.
Okay, my friend, we've been talking for a long time. I think we're gonna have to repeat this. You certainly could be talking forever. Like, you're welcome every time you want to be back. We will be honored. Andres is a big personality, both in cinema and music. He has multiple awards, internationally recognized. He has a lot of experience, and we can learn so much from him. So Andres, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much, and we look forward to have you on again if you'd like.
Sure. It's my pleasure, and I wish everything will get much better with the situation we are in everywhere in the world, so that this nightmare finishes, And as soon as it finishes, that we musicians start playing again, and live music, which is the best to play live.
Playing live is the best, and whoever doesn't know,
that's the best.
Look,
that's the best.
It's probably one of the best, if not the best feeling in the world to be playing live, to be making music live with other people.
Sure, it's an energy. It's a lot of things. And when you are doing good music and you feel it, and the audience is receptive, that's
fantastic.
I've seen that. I've been playing and I've seen that, and that's incredible.
So hopefully.
So I wish we will be able, everybody, all musicians, everywhere in the world, that this nightmare finishes. I wish that with all my heart.
Then we'll take that wish and hope for it.
Thank you.
All right, Andres.
And thank you, and God bless you all, and you.
Exactly. Likewise to everybody.
Yeah.
Pleasure. Talk to you soon. Goodbye, my friend.
Goodbye.
Följer.